Hi there, and thanks for listening to the Adulting is Easy podcast. This is your host, Lauren, and today we're going to make adulting easier by making money easier. Please take a second and hit the follow button if you can safely do so. Also, subscribe on YouTube. This is pretty new for this podcast, and leave a review when we're through. I'm joined today by George Curbelo, financial coach and mentor, who is using his skills to help people achieve their financial goals. George started his own journey to financial freedom in August 2019 when he had a moment of clarity, living paycheck to paycheck, having no budget, and having no control of his money. He wanted more for his family and set out to build a financial foundation for them. Originally, George is from New York City, the Bronx, and he moved to Palm Harbor, Florida in 2018, and he's not missed snow ever since. Not surprising to anyone, probably. So George is a 45-year-old married father of two girls who are 17 and 13. Thanks for joining me, George.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure being on your show and looking forward to the conversation.
Yeah, me too. Our goal for today is to make adulting easier for the listeners by discussing a personal finance topic, since managing money is a big part of adulting. So today, George, we're going to discuss financial coaching, which is what you're doing right now. And can you kick us off and literally tell us what that even is?
So financial coaching there's so many things to so many, you can Google it, do all those things, but it's a person who provides education and accountability when it comes to managing your money. And let me emphasize, it's your money, not my money, but it's your money. And by understanding what drives you with your money, you kind of know where to find that balance with that money. And I think that's what I do, is helping you find that balance in regards to your spending as well as saving and all the things that come in between when it comes to your money.
So when people come to you, well, let me actually back up. Do people normally come to you for financial coaching, or do you go to them? How does that work?
So what I usually do when it comes to, financial, obviously I go out, we have conversations, networking, look to help referral, from a referral perspective. But, I try to make myself available because not a lot of people know what financial coaching is. So it's like, how do you help? So for me, it's more of educating people what I do, how I provide value to their, to the service as a service itself for them. And then of course, really using the word of mouth to say like, hey, I helped this individual, these clients. And then of course they're able to, kind of say, oh, you've got to meet George. He was able to provide this, this, and this. And he'll be able to provide whatever, again, whatever you're looking for when it comes to money.
So what do financial coaches do logistically? I know you said that you kind of have to balance spending and saving, but what do those kind of initial meetings look like?
So what I usually focus on is three things that I've learned in my journey and some of the coaching that I've been given, but it's giving refocus, gaining control, and getting a plan when it comes to your finances. It's helping people set their goals and getting them to that they're aligning to what they value. Having a plan that accomplishes those goals. It's good to be able to say, oh, I want to invest, I want to do these kind of things. We all want to do that, but what is important to you? What is it that you want to spend your money? Some people like spending and getting widgets and doing my wife, she loves experience. Take me out, I want to experience the world. So understanding those kind of things, setting the goals for it, that is what I try to help people do, because we get, am I supposed to do crypto? Am I supposed to invest? Am I supposed, like, yeah, maybe. It depends. It's your situation. I don't know what you want to do, but I want people to be more intentional with your money. Understand exactly what it is that you want to accomplish, and then putting a plan that actually will make you, kind of get you to accomplish those goals itself. So, helping people really find their why, find their passion, driving, what drives you to achieve those goals. Like getting out of debt is something you do. It's not, but what's going to drive you to actually want to do it or invest? Or I want to, like you do itself, right? You get all the Airbnbs and investing and all that kind of, yeah, but something drove you to do that. That's where I help people find that why. I've helped people find that, because that's what's missing when it comes to, investing or saving or, whatever it is that we talk about with finances.
And that why, that passion and your values, that's what's going to keep you sticking to the plan that you guys come up with.
Absolutely. It's going to keep you going to work, to the second job, to the side hustle, whatever it is. You need something to drive you, and sometimes we think we know what that is, and yet it's still something that is, not. We're still trying to find that. And no offense to my youngins, I was 40 when I started, finding that. So don't worry about it if you're not finding it when you're 21 or even 30. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, so speaking of that, we heard in your bio that you had this moment of clarity in 2019. Did you seek out a financial coach at that point?
So, my story itself is, it's I got to say yes. It was finding the hope. Let me tell you, New York City. Shout out to the Bronx. That's where I'm from. Um, I was raised by a single mom, my sister and I, both in New York. My mom never made more than, again, New York City, and then the Bronx itself never made more than 45,000 in a year in her lifetime. So God bless what she was able to do with a budget, and be able to send two kids to Catholic school through, to high school, Catholic as well. And again, first two kids in our family to go to college. So, big shout out to Mama Curbelo to be able to help out with that. But, I got to say, I started making money and I was like, well, maybe I should have learned what my mom did. No, I was like, oh man, I'm making money. I got to catch up on all the no's. I got to catch up and all the things that I didn't get growing up. So I made those mistakes. It was like spend money, enjoy it, experience. Again, no regrets. But I got to a certain age, again, 40, I was like 40, 41, and I was like, we're making good money, six figures, doing what we need to do. And yet, like, man, what do we got? What do we have? We got nothing. We're working paycheck to paycheck. And I got to tell you, there was one time, again, pre COVID, right? Before this whole, mess of a COVID thing, I have family members come out to Florida our first year. And I was like, damn, I couldn't even take them out to lunch. I couldn't even, just enjoy their presence here, first time in Florida. And I was like, babe, we got to do something different. So it was, you Google, you get your Ramses, you get so much information out there. And I was like, okay, I got to do some. I was like, babe, we need a plan. We need a budget. We need to do something different. And that's what we did initially. And then it was like, okay, I need somebody to hold, again, accountability. So that was coaching. That was, podcasts, reading articles, doing what was necessary to be able to keep me going. Because, we're talking 2 years into my journey itself, working overtime, doing what I need to do, paid off about 120K in debt. So let me tell you, it's possible, but oh my God, I was exhausted and working hard, doing what was necessary. You're talking student loans, again, every mistake, I did it. So it's okay. But you gotta then fess up and go, time to change. And it's never too late. So do me a favor, don't do what I did and try to do it when you're 30, I would say, but it's never too late to be able to, take control of your spending, and take control of your money, because money was controlling us. And it was like, time to take it back. And so for me, 4 years into this journey, I'm continuing to help myself. The budget is not like set it and forget it. You're still working through it, still doing what is necessary to be successful there. I've got kids going to college, so as you could tell, the budget changed again. But those are the things that I would say, put me in a position where it's like, okay, um, I would love to help people because I know how it felt. I know the guilt, the stress, the kind of the feelings that are involved when it comes to the shame that might come into it. And I'm like, you know what? I know where you're coming from, and it is a process, not an event. Shout out to my Coach Connection group, but it takes time. But I'm telling you, if you put yourself mind, you put your focus into what you can do, boy, you can do a lot when it comes to debt management and just, again, being in control with your money.
I'm sure your clients can just feel the empathy from you when they're having their coaching conversations, no doubt.
My big thing is I don't judge, like, because I've done most of the mistakes. I haven't done the Bitcoin mistake. That's the only, again, I'll put that in quotes, but it's but it's one of those kind of things that, like, I, well, who am I to judge? It's like, I did the same mistakes, but like, hey, that's the first thing we feel when it comes to our situations. We think somebody is going to make fun of us or is going to judge us for the things that we do, and it's like, no, you know what? If you want to do something different, if you want to change, by all means, I'm here to help you out. And as a coach, we can give you the tools and, of course, the support necessary to do that.
Are there any themes that you see that are kind of common amongst your clients?
So, again, you probably hear it all the time, right? The YOLO, you know,
Yeah.
you got to spend like there's no tomorrow. Don't worry about it. I'll get to saving and investing later. Got to make my money because uh, I've got to meet people. I've got places to be. So I've seen a lot of that. But then that turns into stress about money, you know, uh, because, as much as we can use the credit card, there's limits, and, taking out loans and doing those kind of things itself. We don't use that kind of resources wisely. It becomes stressful. And I've seen a lot of, what do I do next? Because there's no education when it comes to how to deal with money. I mean, there's so much information out there, but you Google or go to YouTube, it's like a fire hose of information. And
Yeah.
someone who's in that state of what do I do next? It can be paralyzing to be able to figure out what to do next itself. So for me, that's like coming in the first kind of meeting. It's like, what do I do? What's how do I manage? And it doesn't always have to be crisis. It could be just like, hey, I feel like I'm doing well. Is there any fine tuning that I can do to take me to the next level? And those are great clients. Don't get me wrong, because it's like let's do some auditing and figure out some stuff, and boom, get you ready so that you can go and invest, and send you to an advisor, do the things that's necessary. Send you to Lauren so you can learn about real estate investing, that kind of stuff as well. But I think for people, it's like you need the foundation. So let's help you get you into that spot to be able to do the things that are necessary, specific to building wealth.
So you mentioned a financial advisor there. Are there some misconceptions about what a financial coach is versus what a financial advisor is? And can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So, miss. Okay. So, I mean, the misconceptions itself. I'm not an advisor, so that means I'm not selling you product. Doesn't mean I do not know about investing and what's needed. I mean, I do have a 401k. I do have to do some investing on my own, but I'm not licensed. You need to be licensed and certified for those kind of things to sell products. But what I look to do and focus on, although, let me just stress, I do have a really good one who can help you when you're ready to build. So that's, again, I know people. I got a guy, or girl. She's actually really good. Um, but the other misconceptions is like, hey, can we fix my big problem that I've had for years, and habits and behaviors that put me into this mess? Can you fix them in a half an hour? Or can you send me an email or a YouTube, and we're fixed and we're good? Can we do that? That's like, well, we could try. Um, but usually habits, you know how it is. Habits and behavior forming changes, they take time. It takes, I think, even doing it every day, it takes like 18 days. I think some of the studies there. For me, working with clients as well, I always say a budget, it's going to take at least 3 months for you to feel comfortable managing your money, managing the budgets, and seeing some accomplishments as part of that. But that's the big thing itself, because we're not. It's not all about the numbers. The budget's it's not going to. That's the other misconception. Oh, if I have a budget, it'll fix everything. We're good, and I can just write the budget out and put it on the counter, and I'm good, right? It'll magically. No, no, it is.
Yeah.
We got to actually put it into practice. We got to put it into place. So that's the other thing itself. The other thing, as a coach, I'm not going to tell you what to do with your money. It's your money. You earn it. You do what you need. I'm here to tell me, you're coming to me for support and help, right? I'm going to tell you based off your goals what you value in your life. I'm going to have suggestions for you, but ultimately you're making the decisions in how to right the ship and how to make the change. I can't make you do that. I can make the suggestions, but I'm not here to tell you do this and this is how it's going to fix. And this is I can only tell you based off experience, based off education. Here's what other people in your situation do, but ultimately you have to actually make the decision and adulting, right? And make that decision itself to change or to do more with your money.
Are there, you said there's licenses for selling products. Are there certifications and things for financial coaches?
So not necessarily certifications. So definitely you can just say you're a coach and do that kind of work. But what makes me stand out, there are programs. So for again, I had a corporate gig, so I have 10 years of leadership coaching. So I've kind of put my corporate gig into my passion, kind of saying, hey, look, if I can help with career kind of coaching within my corporate gig, how can I help you and apply those same skills? You guys still active listening, providing the solutions, providing the support and help as a coach. So those things I put into place. I'm Ramsey certified, so again, I know Dave Ramsey. That's the big word out there when you do your first Google about financial coaching. So I do have that. I'm also part of a great group of coaches called Coach Connections, and Coach Connections pretty much links me with other coaches in this industry. So if there's questions I can't answer, I have a network of coaches that I can work with to be able to get you that answer. If I'm not the right coach for you, there's no problem. I can help you find the right coach who can help you itself. Because there's people who've kind of specialize with widows. I don't have that experience itself. There's people who specialize on retirement. So it's if I can't help you as a coach itself, that doesn't mean that you're at your at a roadblock itself. It just means that hey, I can connect you with the right person who can help you with your situation. So, and of course, podcasting, listening to other great, brilliant people, reading articles. As much as I'd like to say education is nonstop. There's there's so much to learn. There's so many brilliant people out there. And of course, for me, I enjoy just trying to learn as much, answer all the questions that might be. Like I said, I'm not a crypto. I know about it, but I got a guy. It's always good to surround yourself with people who are brilliant at those types of topics to be able to make those connections and be able to truly get you the help that you need with any topic that might come up.
Yep, absolutely. Makes sense. I've recently started doing a bit of coaching on like a case by case basis. If I think I can help somebody, typically it's going to be around financial aspects of real estate, helping people
Right.
analyze deals, giving people resources for short term rentals, things like that. That's just an FYI for everybody. I finally did break down and say yes to a couple of people lately. Um,
So I know who to send those types of
sure.
people to, because that's like, hey, I'm ready to do this. I'm like, hey, I got somebody. Lauren can help you out. That makes sense.
I can help. I can help for sure. So people that come to you, it sounds like there's often a crisis moment, right? I know you said some people are here for fine tuning,
Yep.
and I love that idea. And I'm sure that happens, but I imagine human nature is more so to seek people out. Maybe not when you're at like rock bottom, but when things are not going
Correct.
great. Um, so these people are having financial hardships and they do pay you, right? This is
Yes.
not like a financial advisor. Well, there's different kinds of fee structures for financial advisors, but generally,
Exactly.
financial advisors, you have money, you give it to them, they manage it, and they take a little bit of that. They don't, you're not like paying them per se, cutting them a check or a Zelle or
Correct.
whatever. But in this case, they're paying you. And I've heard some scuttlebutt around the internet about, that's not like ethical to do. So I did want to ask you, I hope I'm not poking
No, this
anything here,
is
but I did want to ask about that, like the ethics of charging people who are in a rough financial spot for financial help.
no, that makes sense, and that's kind of the questions I get from a lot of clients when we start the meet and greet as well, because it's like, how do you take money from people who are struggling itself? And I would say, for me, it's like, why wouldn't I? I mean, I value my time and the service that I provide for my clients. So for me, you know, I get the fact that you're in crisis mode, and I'm not going to be here to be able to go, okay, let's run up another $10,000 and we're going to go. But for me, it's more of like, I can help you get the focus that's necessary, and I guarantee you, most of the time, I don't have a plan. I don't have the focus that's necessary. And I always challenge a lot of folks itself. It's kind of like, hey, let's find it together in regards to this. Let's understand exactly what's put you in crisis mode. If there's truly like, hey, credit cards, or collectors are calling, all of those kind of things. I'm like, hey, look, let's start with a smaller fee, because I still feel that getting a service for free. What do you think? Are you thinking you're getting the best service when it's free? Most of
No,
the times itself,
no.
yeah, you're thinking like, okay, this maybe he's just practicing or he's doing. So for me, it's like, I want you to have skin in the game. So I have my standard rates, but if you come to me in a crisis mode, okay, great. Let's at least start you off with something that has you having some type of accountability financially into this, so that you feel like, okay, I'm still spending money and I need to be able to take it seriously, because anything you spend money on, you're going to want to say, what value am I getting back? I know that I will give you the value in the process, but I know that if it's free, most people are going to be, well, like, oh, am I going to show up for the meeting? Or am I actually going to do the work that's necessary to be able to change the habits that's necessary itself? We don't think is it being unethical when we say services like trainers or debt coaches or any of those kind of folks itself. So for me, it's in the same boat. We're looking for an expert. We're looking for someone to provide us the education and accountability to get us out of the situation that we're in. Trust me, I'm not going to overcharge you if you're in that debt mode itself, but at the same time, I want you to understand that, if you have skin in the game, you're going to see the value as part of the charges and the work itself that we do together.
Absolutely. I mean, massage therapists, mental health therapists,
Absolutely.
my landscaper, my jacuzzi guy, the cleaners that clean my place, my husband's
Exactly.
engineer, he has to bill people, right? I mean, it's your job, right? So, and there's got to be just an incredible ROI, right? I mean, they pay you, I don't know how much it is, but say like a few $100s or something,
Correct.
right? And they save thousands in probably interest, right? At least because they're creating probably a payment plan, especially if they have debt. And
Correct.
also, if you move the needle, if you think about the compounding on those savings over the years, I mean, it seems to me like a pretty fair thing to charge for. I mean, if you were charging for the value you're providing rather than like just
Exactly.
like the time, it would be so much more expensive, I feel
I
like.
mean, think about it like this. You come in, and I'm not promising you gonna, oh, you'll save this amount, but I can guarantee you, if you don't have a savings account in your first month, you will have some money in that account. Because of course, the basis of any good foundation of wealth building is savings. I guarantee you as well, as part of your journey, you will find your goals and you will find the focus necessary to hit those goals as well. I've had clients who come in and they're like, "Well, I think I'm trying to, and I'd love to pay my mom rent, and I want savings for my first apartment." And I have one client who is 23 coming in, and they are, again, need a plan. They need a focus. They need a plan itself. 3 months working together, they have they're paying their parents rent, which they weren't doing before. They save they have a savings emergency fund, 3 months to cover that. They save their first 1,000 for their apartment, and they pay off their student loan, which was about like $6,000. So, and it's just focus. It's just, having the plan that's necessary to be able to do. Now, is every situation, I'm just giving you one of the happy kind of stories itself, but I'm happy if you save your first $25
Yeah.
I know people it took 10 years to save their first $1,000 for their emergency fund. But let me tell you, when you see that money and it's there and you're not using it for 3 months and it's still there, man, that feeling of like, okay, I can do this. It just changes your perception and the way you can manage and again be more intentional with the money you make.
I love that story. And that is definitely so true. I just have one more question that I've
Sure.
been thinking about here. When should listeners seek out financial coaching?
So so here's how I knew it is you feel broke at the end of the month. You're like, damn, should I? I'm not saying poor, because I mean I know the poor when growing up with mom and stuff. We struggled to make ends meet. I'm talking you make good money, and all of a sudden your bank account has the money, and all of a sudden it's gone in a day, and you got that broke feeling. When you're feeling like like what do you do? Like where did my money go? That feel, and we all have that feeling. We get that. You're like, what? I just got paid. What happened? I mean, I have two girls, so sorry guys. Like, I I got kids. I know that feeling. When let me tell you, I'll make a joke, but when Amazon knows you by first name, you might want to have a conversation. Let's have a conversation itself, right, guys? Um, you're not getting ahead. You feel that feeling of not getting ahead. I'm like, man, shouldn't I be farther along in my fire movement or shouldn't I be fire along in my investing and having these kind of things itself? Those questions that kind of let's have a conversation. I'm not let's saying commitment. I'm just saying let's just talk. Let's get to know each other. I want to be able to give you that experience of coaching to be able to say like, "Oh, can I do things differently?" And that's for me. That's the conversation for college grads. That's you're fresh out of college and you don't know how to handle that new freshly loan payment that's asked for you. No offense, guys. September, we're supposed to be paying back your loans. So if we're not ready, we might want to have a conversation as well. And for me, the big thing too, I was 40 years old. So for me, the couples, if you're married, newly married, you need that foundation to build wealth. Let's have a conversation. We know the importance of savings. We know the importance of getting out of debt or not dealing with debt. We know the importance of investing. But what's causing you not to do those things? That's the conversation we can have. And have you noticed in this whole conversation between you and I, Lauren, I'm not here about budgets. I'm not here about the numbers. No one cares about the numbers.
Right.
It's the behaviors that really drive the results. And for me, I feel that's what makes me a different coach. For me, I we'll talk about the numbers. It's inevitable. But for me, it's how do we drive your habits and behaviors to get the results you're looking for. That's for me is the big difference.
And I like too, George, how you were saying, I asked when people should seek out a financial coach. You weren't like, when you have $10,000 of debt, or when you have student loans, or when you have credit card debt, or any of that. It's a feeling,
Yeah.
right? You kind of like, and when you said that, I was like, wow, I totally understand what that's like. I totally understand what you're saying, and I'm
And
sure
that's
listeners are having that same feeling.
that's for me, that's what I'm trying to like I said, if you want to do the numbers, YouTube has plenty. YouTube got you. Oh my goodness, you could be there for hours. What I'm trying to do the difference for me is if you're ready for that kind of behavioral change and really put the stuff that you want to do, those goals, and put them into motion. That's for me. Let's have a conversation because I'm guaranteeing you, just like a trainer, right? Like when you want to see the results, when you want to actually get the stuff going, let's talk. You talk to a coach. That's when we can drive those results. That's where I'm ready. We're ready to have that conversation.
And the accountability as well. A trainer can make you show up to the gym, right? You're going to be letting somebody down if you don't go. And I feel
It's
like financial coaching is very similar.
it's funny. I know a trainer, and we have that conversation, and we're like, dude, we do the same things, but you have a much better body than I do.
I know. I was just saying that to my husband. I wish I could apply my same discipline that I have around my money to my body. But you know what? There's always room
Same
for improvement, and
same
I'll
kind of
get there.
discipline. You just
I
gotta
know.
be, but I love Lauren knows this, I love my pancakes.
I do know that. Oh, and I love wine. I know. That's why I think I have should start with wine because then you can have your pancakes and I can have my wine. Um, so is there anything you want to add, George, before we wrap up?
So let me just tell the listeners itself. As a coach, I am not here to judge. I am only here to help. That is my tagline, and that is kind of what I live within my business. I do want to give a shout out to, again, the Coach Connections group itself. If you're not ready to actually, jump right into coaching, accountablenetwork.com and through Facebook group. This is the group that I work with, and they have great forums as well as information to be able to just, kind of dip your toe into the world of coaching, but also be able to provide you a family of coaches that can help you, navigate through the early stages of like, hey, am I ready for coaching itself? But just do me a favor, if you go to the website itself, just tell them that George Curbelo sent you. Give me some much love itself from there. But once again, I want to make sure folks, like I said, I'm here to help you guys out in your financial journey, wherever you are in that journey as well.
So how can people get in touch with you?
So Curbelo financialcoaching.com. You can have, my videos on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And even YouTube. I'm trying to be hip. My kids make fun of me every day. But Curbelo Financial Coaching on those platforms as well. My wife is my marketing director, so it gets me out and doing videos. And I'm trying to do again, little tips and tricks and interviews, little spots to get you motivated, and really just give you information to keep you going. But I would say, keep in touch that way. Schedule a free consult, and let's start the conversation. Like I said, there's no obligation. When you're ready to coach, for coaching itself, reach out and we can start the process itself, and I can walk people through that process. I would like to give a shout out as well. Listen to Sean Yesner and myself on the Crushing Debt podcast. Again, after you listen to Adulting is Easy. So once you've done this podcast, switch over to ours. I've got a brilliant. Sean is brilliant as a bankruptcy lawyer. And then he brought me into the mix. I don't know what, I got to talk to him about that. But we talk about debt. We talk about topics of the day. We talk about items itself to really give you the education that you need, to be able to, again, start making those decisions needed to be able to crush debt. So give us a shout out there, and really, yeah, I think that's it. I'm trying to look at my handwriting, but no, I think I'm good.
All right. Well, that's a lot. I'll put all that in the show notes as
I
well.
appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Everybody, you can follow me on Twitter at Adulting is Easy. Some of you may be watching this on YouTube, but if you're not, if you're on audio only, just know that that does exist if you, for some reason, want to see my face. I'm also on Facebook. You can email me at realadultingiseasy@gmail.com. On my website, realadultingiseasy.com, that's where you can find the coaching scheduling links. Thanks again for listening, everybody. Hopefully, George and I have made adulting a little easier for you.